multiple different media partners, which is not traditionally how it was. For the longest time, it was Fox and NBC. Now you have Amazon, you have HBO Max. How do you maintain the consistency of the experience from a viewer standpoint, or are you actually letting each of your partners do their own thing in a way?
Oh, yeah, no, great question. So I'd say there's probably 2 questions to address there. One is, one we hear a lot is fragmentation in sports and why is that happening? So I'm happy to hit that, and then I'll talk about kind of the NASCAR challenge specifically. So I think what you're seeing in terms of fragmentation of sports rights, whether you are the NFL or you are NASCAR or you're Major League Baseball, is a lot of the leagues, a lot of the properties, and we're certainly among them, our media rights and our distribution strategies will essentially follow where content consumption patterns are going. So if I go back to 2013, you're either watching content on broadcast TV or you're watching content on a cable platform, because Netflix was not in the business. YouTube was cat videos and dogs on skateboards. They're not buying NFL Sunday Ticket. Fast forward to 2023, and you have, when we're doing our deal, you have digital streaming consumption probably at somewhere between 35, 36% of total consumption. And now that's probably at 42, 43%. So we saw digital streaming consumption numbers go up, but our fan base has traditionally been on linear TV. So what we tried to do in our rights agreement was balance the need to have some sort of digital streaming offering to future-proof our sport and to get younger. And we did get younger last year. In the first year of our media rights agreement, we grew 16% in the 18 to 34 demo, year over year. So we saw Amazon in particular they were 6 or 7 years younger than a traditional linear broadcast, but that same cohort followed to the rest of the season. So it's not like there was a spike only on Amazon and it did not follow during the TNT and USA portion of the calendar, NBC portion of the calendar. It stayed the entire year. So that was helpful. And the second piece that I would just address is more NASCAR specific is if we're in the middle of NBA season right now, and if you're an NBA fan, there's going to be some games on Prime. There's going to be some games on NBC. There's going to be some games on ESPN. And day by day, you kind of have to check the internet and figure out where that's going to be. It's a little bit easier for us. I think we had a little bit of a competitive advantage here because we essentially just have to set up that upcoming week. So on Sunday, we'll be on Big Fox on for our Cup Series race. The next Sunday will be on either Fox or FS1. And so you have a whole week to kind of educate your fan base in terms of where you're going. And we have to do handoffs 3 different times, at least with respect to the NASCAR Cup Series. So we have to promote like crazy from Fox to Amazon. We have to promote like crazy from Amazon to TNT. We have to promote like crazy from TNT to NBC and USA. And we build in cross-promotional obligations into all of those deals, as well as carve out institutional inventory in our broadcast to make sure that that education is out there. But I think we have a little bit of a leg up because it's a weekend-based sport, and you just have to make sure that you know going into that weekend where NASCAR is.
What platforms are you primarily using to drive that education for your fan base? I mean, is it still mostly on broadcast or linear, or your digital and social media properties coming into play in terms of educating fans or getting them ready for the next weekend?
It's all of the above. So it's linear where we have institutional time carved out, and we could also flex some of that institutional time outside of NASCAR broadcasts. So if we wanted to be during on the World Baseball Classic on Fox, we didn't want a NASCAR tune-in spot, for instance, to run during a NASCAR race because we kind of already have that fan. But we wanted to speak outside of the NASCAR universe. We can flex that institutional time to different platforms from our properties. There's a pretty significant third-party digital and social spend that we have for both tune-in and for ticketing efforts. But the lever that has gotten a lot more investment over the course of the last 3 or 4 years in particular is on the content machine in particular. And that's part of the reason for this building, the investment that we made here. But what we're seeing is original content that creates buzzy social videos, frankly, and cuts through the mainstream. We need to think about that differently in terms of driving relevance for our sport, whether it's a well-produced social video that promotes our San Diego race that we have on the Navy base coming up later this year, or it's a show on Amazon, or it's a show on Netflix. That's where a larger percentage of our marketing dollars are going, at least versus, let's say, 2021, 2022.